And so I said, "Hi guys, welcome back to the Slalt Cast."
Nope.
My name's Kobe.
No.
I'm joined by Dan, Joseph, and Dugan.
We actually can't start like that.
Yeah, I just started it. I'm the editor. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Okay, I'm Dan. You have to bleep the thing that you said. Hi, I'm
Sure.
Dan, by the way. Also on the Slalt Cast. Who
Hi,
else is here?
I'm Joseph. That'd be my name.
And I'm everyone's number one favourite, Dugan, as we all know.
The cripple.
Shrouded in darkness.
So
like
you may be
Batman.
thinking, hey, I'm on the Slotcast YouTube and last week I could see their faces. Where are the faces? Well, this week Dan doesn't have time to edit it, so we're back to audio only this week. But from next week on, we should be video all the time, hopefully. But speaking of, God, what a fucking nightmare that was. We were all like in the podcast, like, yeah, this video's going sick. We were all like, all of our captures happened fine. Everything was good. The audio, we did our syncs. It was all going well. We pressed stop recording. We're like, right, send me the
Upload
files.
them.
And then Kobe's like, mine is 55 gigabytes.
Jesus.
It was actually a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, so we ended
VLC
up...
to the rescue, though. VLC is just the king.
Yeah, we ended up having to load the videos into VLC and use it to re-export it at like a lower quality. And then doing so, it fucked with some of the videos. Like Kobe's video was, the speed kept changing for during the first 10 minutes, like the playback speed. So in Premiere, I had to cut it and then change the playback speed so it all lined up.
Then I redid it and fixed it. Then you just refused to use it.
Well, because I'd already started processing it. You know how it be. And then Caden's was out of sync by the end of the episode, and I was too lazy to fix that.
I don't think that. I think that's just Caden.
Video podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
I think that's just Caden.
Yeah, he was laughing before the jokes on purpose.
Because he doesn't actually understand them. He just laughs because everyone else is laughing.
And you know what the funny thing is? He isn't gonna listen to this.
No, he listens to the first 3 minutes every time.
I respect it. So, Dugan, you've had a slight misadventure since the last time you've been on the show.
Yeah, we're back to square one, boys. Classic Dukes has injured himself again. So yeah, this time it was through OzTag, and it was all by myself, no one else. And I've just landed on my knee wrong, trying to do a Benji Marshall flick type of thing, and just twisted. And at first I thought maybe I just jarred my knee a little bit, maybe did a little bit of meniscus damage, but no, it was even worse. It was torn MCL and ACL. Yeah,
it was a lot of meniscus damage.
So
fuck. So that is a big boy.
It is, and it means no more sport. I'm done. No more.
Yeah, that fucking sucks. So what is the... do you know what kind of operation you have to have on that yet? Are you getting nuts and bolts put in, or?
I haven't talked to the specialist yet. I see him on the 3rd. So as we're recording this, it is the 16th. So
16th. So you got a while in your fully crippled state.
So pretty much I'm at the point where if anyone pushes me over, I'll just collapse on my own knee. But
you are salt of the earth.
Yeah.
Salt of the earth, Dugan.
So anyway, we'll get through it. We'll be right. Come out the other side. Yeah, the aim is for next year, hopefully have the surgery at one point, recover and be fit enough to at least ski. But apart from that, I'll be done with
I feel like
all
skiing
sport.
must be extremely hard on your knees though. I know that you
It's
you
very
love
hard
skiing
on
and
the
you love your
knees.
snow sports, but of all your things to want to go back to,
It's you know how you mountain bike ride and your knees go up and down. I want to say vertically. And
so I guess
it's similar. It's similar like that.
It's the lateral movement.
Yeah.
That would do you.
There is slight lateral movement, but I'm good enough that where I don't have to really do that. And if I do, I can compensate by using the edge more. So I'm not putting too much pressure on my knees like that. But as for snowboarding, it's a twist. It's a funny twist. And
yeah, definitely know about that.
Yeah, and Joseph's had a few injuries through the snowboarding too.
Do you want to jump into that, Joseph?
So, I'm uncoordinated as fuck. There's no other way to describe it when it comes to things that require I don't know, basic entry level coordination. Oh, snowboarding, I just can't do. I just physically can't do it. It's just it. I don't have balance to do it. And then I started getting it. Like the first time I started getting it, straight away, I start going a bit too fast. I get a little bit too excited. Straight away,
Too excited.
fall straight back on my shoulder. The shoulder that's already like completely fucked, and then just boop, out comes the shoulder. We think we put it back in. No, wait, they're gonna wait till the end of the story. We think we put it back in. We get down. So I sort of ski down on the bottom. I take my skis. I take my snowboard. I'm like, fuck this. Go to the pub. Couple skewies.
Be rude not to.
I start feeling like it's almost like it's slipped out. Dugan comes back and I'm like, Dugan, it doesn't feel right. He just grabs it. He starts feeling it. He goes, nah, and he just boom, lifts it straight up. No warning, no sort of lube.
Just want to clarify, I didn't do that.
Okay, let's hear the story from Dugan's perspective now.
So, Dan, when you're doing karate and stuff like that, okay, and you're doing a kick, how do they tell you to land?
Is what you like a fall? Like, so land properly, full spread it as much
No.
as possible?
Like, you've kicked someone, both feet are in the air. How do they tell you to land? What are you bending mostly?
Man, you're bending your knees.
Your knees. Your knees, Joseph. Your knees. And what were you bending the most?
My bum.
So the man was swinging
Silly
his
boy.
ass.
Well, I also want to point out that I don't have the best knees either.
Oh,
like,
bullshit. Anyway.
I feel like if Dugan can do it, you can do it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, he was swinging his bloody...
no, but see,
like
Dugan's
he's trying to
knees
swerve.
don't have lateral movement. I don't have like the up and down, like
vertical movement, so you can't
the
walk.
vertical movement.
So you...
No,
Sounds
I
like
can,
you a
but it
bitch.
hurts.
No, it sounds like you were just a person and sometimes walking ouchy.
Over 20 and walking sometimes becomes painful.
Hey, that's real life over here. Come on.
It's like when you're randomly doing something and then you just feel your heart just like, I don't know, just some pain around your sort of left shoulder,
And you go, oh
your
my
left
god.
chest,
Oh my god.
and you're like, this is it. And then you kind of slump down, you reside, you're like, well, it was a good run.
It was a good run.
It was a good run.
You
I was
just
gonna
write
end.
yourself off so quickly.
When you feel that, the worst is like sometimes I'll like breathe in and like I'll feel like my whole like sternum's like, what's it called? That's a sternum. Like it's gonna explode.
Well, you crack open? Yeah.
Yeah. And you get just like sharp pains in places. I think I'm broken.
Well, I woke up this morning and I did a giant shit, like huge shit, right? And I felt so good. I went back and had a nap, and as soon as I came back, as soon as I woke up from the nap, I had another giant shit. I had 2 giant shits.
Yeah, I've done the double shit.
But like
That's the best.
colossal stuff. I was so surprised.
Now, what's
So
the
did you
diet been
drink?
consisting of lately? Or
Did I drink alcohol? Not really. Did I?
Wait, was this
I had-
was this this morning? Sorry,
Yeah.
you drank alcohol yesterday.
Did I?
Yeah, we had like, well, not a lot. We had like
not
3
a
beers,
lot.
but
Anyway.
still, that's still enough to sort of get
it gets the juices going.
Anyway, my juices were going this morning, and I did like I think I lost 3 kilos just doing shit.
That's a very good effort.
But we'll go back from our tangent back to Joseph swinging his hips left and right. So he's swinging his hips, and I had we also had Dominic, a mate of ours, there as well. And Dominic was like, "You got to bend from your knees." So Joseph was right. Yes, he eventually bent with his knees, but he was going faster. And as he went faster, he
I
started.
got a bit too cocky.
Got a bit
I got overzealous.
Oh, 100%. And he leant back. And as soon as you lean back, you can reach out your arm backwards and you're not like touching the snow. He went to do that. As soon as he touched the snow, all his weight's gone down on that shoulder. It's just gone popped up. And it was disgusting. It was bad. So Joseph popped in his shoulder. We got him down to the bar. Got him in.
Well, no, I went down by myself.
Yeah.
You guys went around again.
Yeah,
I
we had a good run. Anyway, we get in. Joseph's sitting at the table. His jumper's off. His jacket's off. And he's...
The
he's
beers
got-
were flowing.
It's still sore. And I'm like, okay, can I just feel it? So I squish around the outside. I'm like, hey, Joseph, it's not really in just yet. He's like, no, it is. I'm like, no, feel that all squishy stuff around your shoulder. That's meant to be where your bone is. Anyway, all I did was just say, I put my fist underneath his armpit, and I was just like, lift your arm up, like you're doing a fist bump to the sky. And he went, ooh, and straight in. Perfect. It was perfect.
Nice.
So,
Look, I feel like we can meet somewhere in the middle for the two stories.
you did it. I
Yeah,
didn't.
there's a truth in there somewhere.
There's a truth in there somewhere. If we reach in, to be fair, it was also like 2 years ago. Well, it was more than 2 years ago.
Was it?
Yeah, 2018.
Wow.
Because it was,
Jeez.
I just got back from Europe basically, and you're like, hey, do you want to come down to the snow?
Weird flex, but okay. Well, speaking of skiing and the snow, Kobe has sent us a topic today. Who actually likes this heat? So, Kobe, do you want to introduce the topic?
It's hot.
So Kobe's really being high octane at the moment. It's a 40-degree day today in Sydney. We're recording on the 16th, and it is indeed quite warm, and we are all suffering from it because when it gets hot and humid, because it's also extremely humid, how you kind of sap your energy.
It's like, it's flat, and it's flat air, it's stale.
It's stale as
Yeah.
fuck.
So Kobe, do you want to you sent a message and you talked about it a bit on stream, but do you want to elaborate again on your point about the weather?
It's hot.
Dynamite drop in. So I believe his point was
He's on that 98 octane right now.
Well, his point was, does anyone actually enjoy it when the weather is like this? Like when it's nice when it's a 30-something degree day. I'll admit that. But when it gets to 40, what are your boys' thoughts on that? Do you reckon it's?
The way you gotta solve it is, if you're sitting in a room, okay, and it's this temperature, would you be more comfortable if it was 40 degrees or if it was 2 degrees? Personally, for me, it'd be 2 degrees.
See, I
110%.
would rather be hot than
But-
cold.
Yeah, but see, I don't want to be shivering and cold, and you're just uncomfortable. Whereas hot, you can
Hot, you can
take
lounge.
clothes. Like I'm literally in footy shorts and and nothing else.
Yeah,
That's
but you
like
get
the perfect thing.
the thing is, you gotta understand. You get to a certain point where that's your limit. You've taken everything off, and unless there's an a external factor that comes in to cool you down, you're stuffed. You're just gonna get hotter and hotter and hotter.
I feel like my body's hot limit is way my hot tolerance.
Yeah, but
is way
also
better than the
colder,
cold
you're gonna-
tolerance.
Yeah, but you're
But
getting colder. That's worse.
it never gets to 2 degrees. It never gets to extreme cold enough for you to need to
I feel like
put
it
a
gets
fucking
to
parka
extremely cold.
and then a jacket on and then a blanket on. Like, that's only ever at night when it gets really cold. But during the day, winters in Australia are only ever like 18 degrees at like
Well, they get lower.
the
Oh,
coldest.
not really. It's
Yeah,
just
like-
like you wake up in the morning,
like
it's
an
5
average.
degrees sometimes.
Yeah, in the morning, because
I'm
it's the
still
morning
out there
when we
going
Yeah,
have...
to
but
work
that's
and
when
stuff.
cold is. Yeah,
And
that's
I feel
when
like it gets to that
winter's
temperature
the
about
most
as often that it
uncomfortable.
gets to 40 in summer.
Yeah, it only gets to 40 really.
It
I'd say maybe
only gets
70.
to 40. It only gets to 40.
And we only get a
Are you
couple of
fucking
them.
kidding?
Can we all just agree?
These guys
Try-
have
okay,
never
okay, try-
worked in a
try-
factory. You can tell.
I've actually worked. So here's the story. Back in the day,
Oh, Dan has. Dan has.
Yeah,
I
so-
forgot. Joseph hasn't.
it was a couple summers ago. I've been working the summer job where I work at a warehouse that does like textbooks and school supplies for basically all of like a good number of the schools in New South Wales. And it was New Year's Eve of 2018 into 19. Fucking, I don't know if you recall, very hot day. We were planning on the New Year's party that year was at Dugan's place, and that was a time. But on that day, we had a 40-foot shipping container come into this job that I was working from China, which was, I cannot explain to you how full it was. Like, it was completely full of just like A4 grid books, and we spent there was like 6 of us, and we just spent like hours unloading it in the hot sun, going from the fucking inside the like hot metal shipping container.
That was a
into the-
hot day.
Yeah, it fucking was.
I remember setting up Dugan's pool, like the tarp
The
over
tarp over
Dugan's
the pool.
pool.
Yeah.
And it started raining randomly.
Yeah. 'Cause
It went from 40 degrees to like 20 in about 4 seconds.
And the greatest idea we had was put the plastic on
boogie
the
board.
veranda, so the gear underneath
Yes,
wouldn't get wet.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
he did such a good job with that.
Yeah, the engineering of that day was just next level.
The bee engineering.
The Engineering.
Engineering.
And that was one of the first performances we had of Southbound at that time.
That was.
Was it even Cinderwinds then, or was
No,
it
Cinderwinds.
Muir
It was
Fighters?
It was just Mule
No,
Fighters.
It was just Muir Fighters.
Yeah, Fighters, classic.
And Kobe,
Muir Fighters.
with retrospect, how do you think that set went?
That was fine.
What are you talking about? You had a drunk Asian drummer.
That was so funny.
Jeremy was on a tear that
He
night.
couldn't even get on the seat, but then he sat down and started drumming perfectly. It was the weirdest
It was
shit.
hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. We played a classic. It's a fucking Beatles song. It goes bum 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 wah, wah. Gary Clark Jr. did it for Justice League.
Come Together.
Come Together. Yeah,
That's
there we
it.
go.
I mean, can you acapella that again?
Bum, 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 wah, wah. That's
Yeah,
right.
no,
I
that's
can play it
possible.
for you
That's
right now.
possible.
I could literally play it
Do
for
it,
you.
do
right
it, please.
Yeah.
now. Okay,
I would have
here
gone
we
like,
go.
well,
Yep. Hold on.
Would have
hold
been
on.
my
I just need
acapella
it.
of that.
Just need it.
See, that sounds right. When you do it with your mouth, it doesn't sound as good as when you do it with the guitar.
Well, nothing I do with my mouth is better than what I do with the guitar. Anyway, bit of an innuendo there for you.
Oh my god.
Wasn't that
see,
A
bad?
little bit of rock, paper, scissors there for you.
So what I ended up doing, well, what ended up happening, sorry, I didn't do anything, was while I was up there, I was listening to Jeremy play the drum beat. And it's a very odd drum beat because it's not just a simple 4 on the floor. It's a little bit of a Ringo classic.
For the
as they say.
non-musically inclined people in the audience, not me, I know what 4 on the floor is. But can you explain? For not me, because I definitely
So
know
you
what
know
it
how
is.
when you dance to music, you're always dancing on time because it's really easy to. It's because it's counted in 4s. When you hear a song, count 4s. Find the 1 and then count 1, 2, 3, 4. It's very easy.
So is that what 4 on the floor is? Just when the beat's
So
in
a 4 on the
4s?
floor is just like a right. Very easy, very simple music stuff.
Oh,
my
fucking
eight-year-old tutor child.
See, I've
gets it.
never had music tutoring because I have no coordination.
Yeah, well, you've had sex, so something correlates. What happened was when he'd come to the part where he'd find the 1, he'd always get it, but everything after the 1, he'd lose it. He'd absolutely lose it. But he'd always come back on the 1, so it didn't sound that bad. In retrospect,
That's
that was
kind
a
of
good-
more impressive to hit the 1, lose it, and then come back on the 1. Because he's
Yeah,
still
well,
in
see-
time, kind of. He's just...
Yeah, see, well, like jazz drummers do it all the time. That you can play like drunk, where as long as you're coming in on the 1, like you can go. It's very hard to do it without like a demonstration on the drums. I'm not a very good beatboxer, but you get the feel.
No, that was... I understood what you meant.
Yeah,
From my
so-
memory, that was quite a good gig, though.
It
Like,
was
just
My
funny.
memory was highly coloured by alcohol, but I also remember thoroughly enjoying it.
My favorite part after that is I walked inside and I went to my friend who was a bartender and I said, Noah, drink me. And then he goes, oh, what about this absinthe? And then I go, hell yeah, let's get this absinthe, right? There was one bottle. Was there one bottle of absinthe that night?
Two.
There was two. So there was one bottle of absinthe. I had the first shot from the first bottle. And then, it felt like 10 minutes later, I walked upstairs, then walked back downstairs, walked to the bar area and went, where's the absinthe? And then somebody told me, it's gone.
It's gone.
Someone came and just rallied everyone, just went, shots.
I mean, I can tell you who the someone... If you had to guess who the someone was, who do you think it was?
Like,
Big old BD.
Was it?
Of course it was.
I just remember being in there, hearing shots, then just turning around, taking an absent shot, doing it, then going upstairs and having like 3 bourbon shots.
Yeah.
And then
It was funny. That night was funny. It's funny you bring up
Crazy.
Noah. I remember when we first got there, Noah drove me like after work, and he was like, "Oh, I got a fucking huge bottle of Fireball. You can have some if you want." So we can walk in there and
ironic.
poetic.
a handful of people walk in, and I was like, "Oh yeah, let's get some Fireball shots." Noah said it's cool, and the liquor was on the shelf. I was like, "Let's pour the Fireball." We pour it, smash it. Noah walks in. He's already had a couple. He's had a couple by this point. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing with my fireball? I was like, he said like I have some. He's like, nah. Proceeds to like in like the next like 20 minutes finish the bottle, and that's why he was in that zone on that night with the acid.
So he out of spite,
he fucking necked the fireball.
that's very similar to a situation that happened down the coast.
Yes.
See,
So
oh, you're gonna explain it?
no, I was just gonna say
Oh.
the meaning of that story is don't touch Noah's bottles because he'll get
No.
angry.
Yeah, don't push his buttons at all, really. Continuing on with that night, the morning after, I had probably the best shit.
This is one of my favorite stories of you, by the way.
So I slept in my car that night. I refused to go into the house because I knew what happened.
I know what you did last
I know what you did.
with Joseph did a something unspeakable.
Joseph did a something, right? But I slept in my car that night, and I woke up and I was in my car, and I'm like, Andrew, our friend Andrew, lovely boy,
Amazing.
love him to death, came up to my car, dropped me a glass of water, and I was like,
Oh, what a fucking saint.
he is.
Remember when
He
he used to
also
come
cleaned
to
up
things?
all the vomit that people
Yeah.
chundered.
Yeah, a lot of people vomited that night.
Matt
So I
I
walked-
saw Matt
yeah.
Sam's vomiting.
I think,
he was
I think
drinking
Matt
from
Sims was so drunk he started to see color.
It was
I
a pretty
remember
wild night.
I remember at one point I saw him vomiting in the garden, like because he was like drinking from straight from a bottle of Smirnoff and then vomiting in the garden. And I was as soon as vomiting, I was like, "I can have a sip." I swig of the Smirnoff and immediately vomited as well. We were in a state that night.
All I remember is walking outside, seeing Boma just start
On the
hooking up
corner
with this
of-
chick- in the corner.
Don't say that.
But after when he was out the back, I looked and I just saw him, and then I just saw like someone vomiting in there as he's like hooking up with it. I literally walked out and just went, yeah, and just walked straight back in.
So, that morning after I had chugged that glass of water, I walked up to you
Always a
guys,
bad
and you
idea.
guys were in Dugan's dining area, and I went, "What up? Yeah, what up? I'm not in a good state. No, please don't speak to me." And then I went, "Oh, something is moving up my esophagus. It does not feel good. It's not good." And so I walked downstairs, and our friend Aiden was in the toilet. It was in the toilet. The only working toilet that I know of in Dugan's house. So I'm like, you know what? I'll go to the front garden. If it happens, it happens. And I'm not sorry for it. And as I'm standing there, I'm feeling it rising and rising. I feel it. I feel it. It's extremely vivid. And then it flushes all the way down. And I'm chasing that high ever since. That shit was the greatest shit that I've ever taken in my life. I went downstairs, all the way downstairs. Shit in the broken toilet. There was no windows in there to open.
Didn't someone break the toilet that night, Dugan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody broke it that night. It was broken that night. It was fantastic.
There's
It
a
was
lot
the
of-
greatest feeling ever.
There's a lot of stories from this night that we kind of have to talk around. It was
Yeah.
definitely we need to have a. It's a shame that it's COVID because last year's New Year, while lit, was not to that tier. Like,
I think
'Cause
it wasn't.
because we
like in a
last year we
house?
went to a. It was more of like it was a friend's girlfriend's place. So we
See, I not liked it better, but it was different because you kind of didn't have to give a fuck. Whereas like at Dugan's,
Well, I feel like I gave way more of a fuck.
no, see, I didn't give it like because at Dugan's, like Mark kept dropping bottles everywhere.
Richie's-
Like he dropped them like 4 times, and I kept having to clean them up. It was like literally I was like there with no shoes on, as he's dropped them on my feet, and I'm standing there having to stay still. Cameron's like, I'm telling Mark just get the fuck out. Cameron's like trying to sweep around my feet, try and make sure I don't step on glass. And then yeah, so at this chick's house, it was a lot less stressful in terms of like, I didn't have to
I
worry
was more
about cleanup
concerned
or
with
anything.
like how am I gonna get home from that one because it was a much further distance than my like
Listen.
$6 Uber home from Dugan's.
It actually, you know what? It wasn't actually that expensive, the Uber.
From
I'm
the
pretty
most
sure I got
recent
home.
one.
Yeah,
I got a lift from Kirby's wife, your friends with benefit.
Move that on.
Wait, my wife does what?
Kirby, I didn't mean for you to find out like this.
Oh no, I've known for a while.
Joseph has
Don't
been
worry.
sleeping with your
I've
wife.
gone on the dark web. I've hired a hitman.
On
I'm
that,
gonna get
I
caught-
can't do the hit in tomorrow like I was going to. Is it okay if we reschedule?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. It'll still
Yeah.
happen.
Why'd you order a hit on yourself?
No, I ordered a hit on like all three of us.
If I can't have you,
Yeah,
no
and
one
I'm the
can.
hitman. I'm gonna kill myself first.
Yeah, this wife bit has gone a bit too far. I find
Okay.
You're the one that says it.
wife.
Right, wife. Life good.
No, I just regret.
So, a conversation that me, Caden, and Nick had on stream last Wednesday. Caden was talking about his dinner, and he was like, "Oh, I'm having pasta for dinner." And then Nick was like, "I'm also having pasta for dinner," and I'm like, "I just like pasta," and that led into a conversation of what is the best type of pasta. What is your guys'
penne.
preference?
Penne.
Joseph, you're a man after my own heart.
It's easier to eat. It's more like pasta.
I think,
just fucking
as
cool.
opposed to spaghetti, the density, like the food density of the
It
meal is
holds
better.
sauce better.
It holds sauce,
better.
but it's also like when you get spaghetti, it can kind of it's like a lot. Yeah,
Now
it's like
I
a
know
lot.
that
Yeah.
I know what it is, but for Kobe, isn't it the 2v1?
Penne?
That's penne. That's penne.
Well, there's different types of tube ones.
Yeah, there's different types of tube ones.
Which
but,
tube
like,
are you
most
thinking
popular is
of?
penne.
Mustacholi?
I
Because
don't
cover
know.
his
Just-
face.
Have you just embarrassed yourself? It's the tube. It's the tube one that
Is
isn't
it the
a tube.
one where you
it,
make
like,
a necklace of it?
No, that's what?
Pastina?
Macaroni.
You make a necklace with it.
Macaroni?
macaroni,
Are you making
you can ma-
making macaroni?
Do you mean
Your
those like
favorite-
little star ones?
Star?
Buca-
No.
Bucatini?
No, he's talking about macaroni.
No,
No. I
know
think
what
Dugan. I
macaroni
think
looks like.
Dugan is talking about penne. He just doesn't realize he's talking about penne.
There's penne rigatoni, which is like the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Then it's
Bigger
probably that one.
round-
Big round boys.
Big
Tubies.
round boys.
Big round tubie boys.
Yeah.
You make a necklace from
Okay. All right.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
penne
know.
is pretty good.
So is that a general consensus?
So
that
I
penne
expected
is
there
the
to be
best?
pushback, honestly.
No,
No,
I mean
penne is the
fettuccine's
best.
all right, but it.
I think once again that suffers from the same problem as pasta, where you
As
can
pasta?
get
Do
too
you
much.
mean as spaghetti?
Spaghetti, sorry, because you can get too much dense. I like it to be a little lighter, and I feel like the tubular shape of penne.
Well, I think a bit more. I think a bit more of a argument we can have is how do you like it cooked?
Correctly.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, no,
Al
because there's
dente.
different ways.
I like my pasta fucking crunchy, like in the water for 2 seconds, out of the water, put into the
I like
pasta,
it
No, 'cause
cooked in
into the
apple cider.
dish. Sorry.
So you like it because I know I think it's Greeks, Turkish. They cook it like a lot more than
so
like
it-
al dente.
So it feels like a tire when you bite into it.
Yeah.
No,
But,
but al dente is how you cook it.
But see, I even like it a little bit less than that. I like it a little
Oh,
bit,
a
not
little firm
not actually
for ya?
crunchy noodle.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
but it's a
a
nice
little bit
of
more
firmness.
texture in the bite.
I can vibe with that too.
And
Joseph wants
again,
to sew it bites back. That's what he wants it.
that's when I eat meat. I want like it when it bites back. I want to fight when I have my meat. Another one, salt in the. Do you guys salt the pasta water?
Yes.
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 That's like an actual like cooking step. It raises the boiling point of the
Yeah,
water,
yeah.
so it
Which
cooks
means lowers the
water up.
boiling point.
Lowers the boiling point. Sorry, so you can get it to a higher temperature. Is what I meant.
Yeah, it boils quicker and it salts the water.
No,
So
fuck you. It
it's
raises the
tasty.
boiling point. I was right. It raises the boiling point so you can get it to a hotter temperature. I was right. Don't fucking
Doesn't it
make me
make?
second
But doesn't
guess
it make
myself.
it boil quicker?
No, it doesn't make it boil
No.
quicker. It makes it boil
quicker.
hotter.
Because there's salt.
Wait,
and salt's
Look,
boiling
look
point
at his,
is
look
higher
at his
than.
little brain thinking. Look at it.
We can't see
Look
you,
at it.
Dugan. You're completely shrouded in
Not me.
darkness.
Not me.
Oh,
Jo-
his brain?
Joseph. Yep.
Yeah.
It's ticking over.
Hey,
You see the
my
clock?
senior science brain.
Best brain.
That's-
Good
Wow.
brain.
That was a subject in school for the non-Australian, non-New South Wales listeners.
How many
Non-
of those?
Post
Oh, I know we have at
2018.
least two.
2. Oh,
Gerald
well,
and
thank
Will,
you.
g'day. How you going?
This is Jared and Will.
No, in our stream, I know you're never in our stream, Joseph.
Yeah.
They're often in our stream.
Oh, that's funny.
Have you been surprised about the people that you've had in your stream, like especially the ones that you haven't.
So there's 3 separate camps of people that come into our stream. There's like our IRL friends, which we love the boys for coming to support, both the boys from down here and the boys from up with Caden. We appreciate you all. You're all bloody legends. There's the people that have come from the Fall from Grace stream team, like like my internet friends through that. Once again, love all them. Will and Jared, we love you guys. Thank you for coming out. The rest of you guys who I know you've listened to episodes in and out, you come to the stream, fucking drop sub gifts. You're all weapons. We love you all. And then, yes, there has been a smaller but surprisingly growing sect of people who have discovered us naturally and have stuck around, which is... Wow. I honestly didn't expect to happen. I thought we'd just be streaming for us, basically. Yeah. So yeah, no, we've had a couple of people who have like come in, they've joined, they've watched the stream, they've liked the content, they've gifted subs. We've actually to the point now where we've broken even in terms of money. We've finally come back.
Well, but do we count like how we all bought webcams for it?
I was gonna bring that up off the podcast, but do you guys want to be reimbursed for your webcams? How much was your webcam?
It's like $50.
Yeah, because
thanks.
The goal from Twitch streaming always was to fund getting better equipment for the podcast. So we're gonna eventually buy a mixer and like a camera, and we'll be able to do it in person. And except for Caden. He'll be like Lawrence from Inside Gaming on the laptop.
Don't bring up Inside Gaming.
I think we should one up that, Dan. We should make a robot Caden.
Okay, we buy a sex doll.
But only can do maths and Japanese.
No. No, only says four things.
Essentially.
Yes, that's one of them.
Genuine question.
Yes, that's another. And ideally. And what's the last one? Come on, one more.
Come with us, you
Oh, at the end of the day. I don't know. What's the last one?
Yeah, I'm stumped too.
I don't know.
That's my Caden phrase.
Dugan, show me
explain
that. Show me what you're doing.
Show me what I'm doing.
What's the fourth one? Did you have a fourth one in mind?
What's the fourth one?
Nah, no idea. I was just hoping there was 4 things.
Okay.
Well, technically it's 4 words.
You're right.
Well, he does say you guys are cunts a lot because we make fun of him.
Nah.
I mean, I don't make fun of him. I'm the good friend.
Why did that sound like an Arnie Dog
I just
sketch?
don't like any of you equally, and I feel like that's it's communism. But
so
Wait,
so it is
like...
equally or not equally?
Wait, so you don't...
No, it's equally.
I
don't like...
I thought you were about to say you had favourites, and I was like, why is it me?
No.
But that's what I thought he...
Hey, Kobe, you want a job?
Yeah.
There's a favourite then.
For context, Kobe works for Dugan's dad, so
yeah.
Dugan has just ascended in the ranking.
I mean,
speaking of
I
ranking,
feel like
friends,
a bigger punishment would keep me working for
for longer. That's true.
Speaking of ranking our friends, there's a ranking that I keep of all of our friends, and Dugan, due to his recent injuries, has just kind of plummeted on that ranking.
Yeah, just put me down the bottom. Just put me last.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll be last. I'm sure you have the upper body strength and the know-how. Basically, I've been doing karate for coming up on 16 years, and as a meme one night, I was like, okay, I'll rank everyone in the friendship group on how easily I reckon I could beat them in a fight. And I have it places that I reckon I can still beat everyone in the friendship group in a fight. And so up the top we have Big Cam because he's actively training in boxing, and so like that's fair enough. And then Caden right below him because he's also doing boxing. And I'm not going to get into the list. I have the list. I'm actually looking at it right now. I've just made the adjustment.
I just remember the fact that I'm lower than Blake on that list is absurd.
That's what I was going to get to. Joseph wanted to dispute the fact that he was below Blake, but my logic there is both of you I feel like have a similar lack of fight experience. let's call it, and general know-how. I feel like you both. Would your fight context would be from spectator of MMA? Yes. So Blake has the raw strength, like kind of.
No, I beat him in wrestling.
Let's be honest. It's Blake's primitive.
Yeah, he dips fully into monkey mode and just swings. He rolls his primal roar. He chokes Duggo. And that is what edged him out above you.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
But you've plummeted. You're not at the bottom. I will say that.
Okay,
You were
well,
second to last.
Go through the
I'm not
list
going to
then.
go through the list because
Why
people's
not?
feelings might get hurt.
No, feelings are meant to get hurt, then they gotta prove themselves.
You reckon I should fight every person on the list?
100%.
Then reevaluate? Dude,
I know where I stand, and I'll be at the bottom of the
Or
top.
you
All
don't
right, here we
stand.
go. Here we go.
Exactly.
Am I above or below Dugan?
You have to
you're
put
above
Kobe.
Dugan.
Who's below him?
Well, I take into account a lot of factors. So fight any experience in a martial art is kind of like the primary factor.
Oh, I
which
did
is
have
why-
I did karate for a
Yes, when
I
you were
also
5.
did karate for a bit.
So that's the
Make Kobe
primary
equal
that's the
footing.
primary factor, and then like height and weight also factor in.
Whoa. Did you put in my weight?
I said what I said.
Fat.
And then
Is that a fat joke?
I think the ability to actually unleash in a fight also weighs in. And then also whether I feel like I could employ mind games upon the yeah.
So is it like a multiplying
there's
algorithm?
some statistical logic involved.
Yeah.
Different portions are weighted differently.
Exponential graphs are involved.
He doesn't write it down though. He doesn't write
No,
it down.
it's
It's all in
in
his
it's
brain.
in here.
Yeah, it's in his brain.
And it's a
Dugan-
decaying
Brain.
factor of previous injury, right? Is that
Yes.
that?
So,
Yeah, okay.
Dugan, so you are when your legs functioned correctly, I'd say you've watched enough MMA, and I feel like you have enough know-how. In previous demonstrations and conversations regarding physical combat, you've made good, valid points.
Nice,
That gives you the edge in the know-how. I'm not sure regarding experience.
Okay, yeah.
I've never seen you throw a punch with intent, but I feel like you could move yourself to that point and actually pull it out. So there we go. In terms of height and weight, you are towards the taller side of the friendship group. You're not a short king like Joseph. The absolute midget of a man that Joseph is.
Fucking ass.
I mean, imagine being less than 6 foot, guys. Am I right?
Yeah.
I'm directly on 6 foot.
And so height and weight is kind of what has edged you out over the person that's lowest. It's those two factors that have moved you. If you want to, you guys can take a guess. It's the shortest member of the Slalt Cast family. Yeah, the poor bloke. I think it's just the height advantage.
But he doesn't even. But you don't.
It's
even
the
put
height
him in
advantage
the
and his
list,
timid nature. Like
no, you don't even put him in the list. He doesn't. He's above the list.
He
He transcends the list.
he's why the list was created. Okay, we
To
protect
protect
Paul.
him.
Yeah.
We're on his personal guard detail.
100%. This
So
was
before Dugan lost his legs, I was second last. But
I don't think I'm looking at the list. I think you may have been third last. I'm definitely not going to reveal who was second last because feelings will get hurt.
No. Go through the list.
No,
Yeah,
I will
no,
not.
I'll go
We're
through the
moving. We
list.
are
No, we're not
transitioning.
gonna go
Actually,
through the list.
as
Look.
long as I'm above one certain person,
which you are.
I think that might be the person to which I'm referring also. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wait, I
Wait,
didn't see
do
what
you have
mouth. He's mouthing things. Oh, yes. No, you've nailed it.
oh, okay, thank
Yeah,
God. I
yeah.
just want to.
We have our own video on. You guys just can't see it.
Yeah,
how it
sorry.
goes. Anyway, moving on. So I had an encounter at work the other day that is not uncommon. Working as a cashier in a grocery store.
You got
Basically,
flirted with?
a parent walked up, a young mother, with her 3 children and the children running wild. She doesn't have a good handle on it. And she asked me to just kind of have a go at the kids and tell them to stop. Have any of you ever been in like a cashier situation where a parent has asked you to assist in the fucking parenting of their child?
I
Because
haven't
it happens
been
like
asked.
semi-regularly.
I haven't been asked, but I had to tell the parent. I'm like, you can't let. I was like, sorry, ma'am, but your son can't be running around like a fucking maniac in the middle of the store when it's a busy Saturday and he's like knocking other kids over and shit like that. I'm like, just sit him down, otherwise we're gonna have to make him leave because he's been a fucking tool. But you're not. Like, I haven't been asked to like tell the kid and grab him by his ear.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, she explicitly asked me to tell the kid to put down the thing he was holding. I was like, I don't want to do that. It's your kid.
I don't have the power. It's your child.
Yeah.
I earn
What do
minimum
you
wage,
say?
lady.
What do you say? Do you look over your glasses and put your hands down your pants and go, look at me, you little cunt?
The hands on the pants was
okay.
an interesting angle.
Yeah, come on, man.
I'm not Cameron.
I feel like that's indicative of people in your area who parent like that, and You know,
So a wrinkle to the story is that directly above my place of work is Planet Dance. So we get a lot of that clientele during the day.
Oh, yeah. And we
So
all
it's
know
lot of
young
Karens.
mothers with the pageant kids, basically. Like that. It's
Dugan,
that kind of
Dugan,
breed of
you're
person.
around a lot of that. You're around a lot of that. What's your take on that?
Well,
see around a lot of that.
of dancing or of what
The
kids
dancing.
being...
mums.
Dancing, does Jana ever tell you like stories about rude mothers?
Dancing mums are a different breed. Like
Yeah, they are.
Built different.
they are.
They literally are, because
I-
they've got silicon in them.
I feel like it's such a showmanship of personalities and trying to be the best. It's not. It's very visual. It's not so much a personality type of thing.
Yeah, it's appearance over
Like,
substance.
It's a
type deal.
It's a spectator
A
sport.
lot of the time, it
Yeah.
feels like they're projecting onto their
Absolutely.
young, like
100%.
onto their
You can say that with
more often
Or
daughters, but
sport and
sometimes
stuff.
sons too. And it's like you see the same thing to a different extent with dads and they're like footy or soccer sports sons. But like that, like,
Yeah,
but
no,
at
this
least
wasn't- that
there
wasn't
it's
supposed
like
to be in a
at
sexist-
least there
good-
it's like
good
once
covering
it's
our
in
asses, Kobe. It
it's
wasn't-
it's during the game, after the game, before the next game, and then it's kind of over, right?
Well, I
but
don't know.
we're
Sometimes they,
well, that. I mean, look, my dad never touched ladies' man on me because he doesn't. He doesn't exist. He doesn't exist.
Oh man.
Jesus Christ.
No, but it's just that kind of person. It's about like the certain privilege that somebody has to be like. Well, not privilege. It's more so
If
the
you're dancing,
the-
you're
It's
privileged.
like the ego, I'd say.
Yeah, it's like this. It's this like they don't know how to properly be a role model for someone, and it's just like you should do dance and netball because you're a girl, and you should do footy
being
and,
said, we're
and
not
only footy because
Fully
you're a boy.
demonizing. We
or
understand
soccer.
that some kids are into it, and there are some parents who are just actually supportive and aren't trying to vicariously live through their kids. It's just a pattern you see in those kind of sports and areas.
There's a lot of. I find that dancing is fucking expensive. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
After this-
realize.
after listening to what a costume would cost and how many costumes they would have for a concert and
Mm-hmm.
them practicing for that one concert. It's not like every weekend they got something. It's like once a month or something like that. It's fucking expensive. And I don't know.
Well, because I used to do dancing, believe it or not. I used to do folkloric dancing. It's fantastic.
How come we don't see you do that anymore?
Because well, actually, it's a funny story. This involves my dad. My dad conned me one time. So my dad grew
Jokes
up.
on alive.
We have him standing outside your door. Walk through.
What the? Nah.
Now behind door number 3.
So my dad grew up in Wollongong, and there's a suburb in Wollongong called Fig Tree, and like around there's a lot of Croatians, and whatnot, people from Yugoslavia, and there's a Croatian church there, and right next to the Croatian church there's a like function thing, that the community thing, and it's based there, and they did. I still think they do. I'm not quite sure. Croatian folkloric dancing, and my sister wanted to do the folkloric dancing because she's in it for the attention, because she's my sister. Yeah, thanks, Dan. For audio listeners, both Dan and Joseph has just slumped in his chair, and Dan is now lying down on
I'm
his
fully
chair.
reclined.
I don't think I can do
Yes,
that
he
with
is
my chair.
reclined.
My chair
No,
doesn't
you
do
can't. I know your chair.
You know his chair. You have a deep interpersonal connection.
Oh, and I think Dugan's now doing it too, but I don't think Dugan's
Dude's
chair
actually
has
just
a
on
back
his
on
bed.
it. Yeah.
Ah,
Oh, we can see him now. Yeah, he's just fallen over. He can't get up.
He's given out.
He can't get up.
I was like, Kobe, now that Dugan said his light on, I've actually noticed a pattern. You're the only one with a shirt on in this recording.
I have a wife
I
beater on.
was gonna say before. He's
Yeah.
got a wife beater on.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's because my
folkloric
wife
dancing.
sleeps with another man. Anyway, continuing with the story.
Your sister loves attention, is where you're at.
Yeah. So I was staunchly against the idea because, you know, believe it or not, I've been the same person for like maybe 15 years, and it's embarrassing, and I don't want to do it because it's embarrassing, and kind of cringe. But that word didn't exist back then, and
It's true. No one
And-
ever cringed until 2016. It was the first
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
I thought
Someone like
cringe was
this,
very.
and they're like, "Wait, what is this? Is happening to my face?"
Whoa. But then he conned me. He said, what about this? Just this one. You get in. Like, you guys know me. I have severe cases of FOMO. Right, like tonight, I didn't want to do the podcast at all, but then I thought, but I'm going to miss out on the podcast. So I did the podcast
We
anyway.
appreciate you, King.
I hate this. And what he did was like, you should just join this one practice. Just join this one practice. And then I did folkloric dancing for 2 years.
So have you
Maybe
retained
like
any
a
of
year and
that?
a
Are we
half.
going to see any of that busting out in the
Yeah,
South
I've never seen you actually bring it out at a party.
Because it's not like a single person dance. It's a very community based thing. Like you're linking arms and you're like stuff like that. It's not like in dance where you learn a specific like routine where you can just do it on your own
Okay.
and techniques.
So what,
Like
what-
if you guys knew how to folkloric dance, probably. But
Yeah, so what you're saying
Not
is
really.
we all need to learn, or you need to get everyone in Southbound to learn, so that on stage you can, you know, when you're
no, thank you.
playing a ditty and then doing all
No.
the dance.
That'd be
No.
amazing.
But see, like the difference between that dance and like dancing for little children that have their parents put them into dancing, that's more of a community thing where people that just do dance on the whole are a lot more like just I want to dance.
I mean,
You
that's
know?
fair enough. I mean, I said I
Yeah.
want a podcast, and then I forced you all to be here.
I mean, we were always talking about a podcast. Peek behind the curtain, actually. I want to talk about the history of our podcast ideas. We had a podcast idea that was 4 dudes in a car, where we would buy 4 microphones and then sit in a car and drive
Drive
around
somewhere.
and talk in the.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember what spawned this idea?
We were coming back from a movie one day.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Dan,
remember
can you
what
please
movie
sit?
it was.
Can you just sit close to your mic so
Sorry.
I forget what movie it was. It was
But it was me, you, and Joseph in the car. Yeah, I'm assuming it was
Yeah.
like an Avengers, like a Marvel movie of some sort.
yeah, probably yeah. It was pretty. I still think we should do that idea.
But when we
it's a
broached
funny
some
idea.
topics on that car ride, most of them we can't bring up right now, but
Uh huh.
it was
Oh
definitely...
yeah, like how, who was it? Dan or Joseph hates someone. Oh yeah, because it was something that was said. Not gonna repeat it. It's
No,
awful.
I was going to say that I'm surprised you went into it.
Yeah.
What is? I don't even remember.
There
There's
was
something I
something
said.
that was said in mistake. We're dwelling on this
We-
for too long, you know?
It was something that we don't have, and we as Australians don't have.
You know, it's not as much of a problem here as it is other places.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah, moving on from that,
4 Boys
Jesus.
in a Car, we had Dehab, which was actually the
Uh-huh.
people
I was
that
Dehab
were
was
here.
before.
Was Dehab before? Anyway, whatever.
Dehab
We-
was like a long time ago.
But this Slalt Cast is actually our second attempt at group streaming. Before that, we had Dehab, which was a nightmare.
Well, actually, I also have. This was like sometime last year. Daniel wanted to do a podcast, and it was going to involve myself, Caden, and himself. I remember at a point, Daniel said it was an idea to never have Joseph on a podcast because Joseph is a certain type of person.
Did I say that? That doesn't sound like me.
Yeah, you did. You did
Are
say
you-
that. You didn't say the certain type of person bit, but 2018 Joseph is a different person than 2020 Joseph.
Your views were more extreme back then.
You didn't watch Bernie Sanders videos and become a communist. It's what you did. But I remember your idea was required reading.
Oh, I do
and it
remember
was-
that.
Yeah, and
we'd
it was
watch
like
movies and
we have the
things.
audience involved, and it's like, what fucking audience, Dan?
And we still have no audience.
And it sounds like it was just a rip off of a Kind of Funny podcast.
It was.
Yep, have a look at me.
Speaking of ripping off kind of funny podcasts, episode 3 of The Mandalorian.
It's the Mandalorian segment with the Slalt Cast.
We're doing a weekly Mandalorian segment. Dugan, have you been watching the Mandalorian or not?
I have been actually.
Are you up to date?
Once again, I think all Star Wars cinematically is a spectacle. I think it always looks amazing, even when it comes to like their costumes, to the set design, and how they make a world. I think they gotta express a little bit more adventurous, be a little bit more adventurous when it comes to potential characters. Like I know there's like the recurring characters, for example, like squid people and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was just a little bit confused at how this storyline's going because I know. Am I allowed to spoil, or is there?
Yeah, no, we go full
You can
spoilers. That's
spoil.
why it's at the end
We're
of
going
the podcast.
spoilers.
I know that like he's on his way to find the Jedi to return the to return the
Baby Yoda,
yeah,
the
but
child.
yet I thought it was meant to be developing his relationship with the Baby Yoda, not just.
I mean, it is like do you seriously think that when he finds Ahsoka that he's actually gonna give Yoda over?
I don't know.
There's no chance.
I don't know what he's gonna do with it.
Well, okay, look, I'll tell you what. There's no
He's just
chance, even from a money point, with how much the audience. Even if their plan was initially to hand over Baby Yoda, there is not a chance that he is not going to be in the show at any point.
I just know for sure that when the Empire take Baby Yoda at some point, wherever point that it will be, I don't understand how they're gonna. Like, what's the point of the guy with the black saber? I don't understand. I forget.
Giancarlo Esposito. So the dark saber is if you watch the animated
for the leader of
it's
Mandalore.
The leader of Mandalore holds the saber. And so in this episode we had Bo-Katan, who's been a character in Clone Wars and an even bigger character in Rebels. Her character arc in Rebels was that she was going to be the one to unite Mandalore. And thus that saber is kind of hers technically because she's the leader of the Mandalorians.
Yeah,
so
because
it's interesting that they've brought her into the series and the fact that Giancarlo Esposito has it because technically, from what we know of the canon of that time between Rebels and
was the Purge.
Clone Wars, there was the Purge, but we also we don't really know where the Darksaber went. It kind of went
Well, in Rebels, if I recall correctly, there's a Rebels character called Sabine, who's also a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
She had it.
Yeah,
and then
gave it to Bo-Katan.
She gave it to Bo-Katan. So
it's kind of interesting that she doesn't have it at the moment.
Yeah, which is kind of strange how she, of all people...
Doesn't...
She was... There's a lot of lore.
Well, no, she was supposed to have it because her sister was the queen, was the Duchess.
Yeah.
And then she got killed.
But also, at some point, she was also a part of a terrorist organization overthrowing her sister. And
at the start, it wasn't like that. It was more. It became more of that after. Like it wasn't as a terrorist organization before that. Like if you actually watch the show, it kind of all blends in. Thinking about it,
I watched the show fairly recently, and it kind of was.
We're getting into a bit into the weeds here. So
yeah,
we're talking about Sabine.
Yeah.
So we know that Dave Filoni's directing an episode of this season. He didn't direct an episode last season, but we know he's doing one this season. He's directing not this week's episode, but the one after. So Ahsoka from who is like a major character in the. You'd probably say the main character of the Clone Wars. Was name checked as the Jedi that Mando is looking for now. So we know that she's in it. And we also know from Clone Wars and Rebels that Ahsoka and Sabine had spent a lot of time together around this time. And the fact that Filoni's directing this episode, so the next episode is directed by Carl Weathers and the one after is Filoni. I'd say it's fairly likely that this Carl Weathers directed episode will probably star Carl Weathers and Gina Carano and Giancarlo Esposito, and they'll tie in the story from the end of last season. That kind of bring us up to date on what's happened since then. And the one after will probably be the fact that Dave Filoni's directing it, probably because he wants to make sure that Ahsoka's treated correctly in live action. That might be the episode where we get all of that, which is cool stuff. I didn't expect this season to go there this way and and handle it so well. Because personally, I enjoyed the episode.
I thought it was good because it was.
It was the
Actually,
best episode of
the
show
probably the
so
entire,
far.
except maybe its contender is the last episode of the first season.
Yeah.
I didn't like the last episode of the first season. So
Yeah, I was gonna say,
disagree.
didn't like
I
it.
did. I thought it was good.
I thought
I
it
still
was
think
good.
it's a show that's a bunch of short stories just mashed together to hopefully make a full story.
Well, no, it's
Well,
it's
last
just supposed
season
to
was
be.
definitely that. This season is they're kind of stepping away from that, which I'm enjoying.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
the first episode was definitely that again, like it was that one-off story. But then, so episode 2 and 3 were directly connected. It looks like 3 is going to lead into 4, hopefully, and then if not into 4, it's definitely going to lead into 5, the Dave Filoni episode. So it looks like they.
But
I'm not sure-
having
I'm sure this is
having
planned out
little
way ahead, but
sprinkles, having little sprinkles of storyline to progress it later, isn't really having a story arc. You know what I mean?
There's an overarching.
Well, at
story.
least he definitely has like one goal this season.
Yeah, to get to
and
the
like
Jedi.
they're using
yeah.
that as the connecting tissue rather than he's Mandalorian. He's just kind of walking around, running into
Here's
Bilbo.
Mando with baby.
running into Bilbo.
This episode I thought was cool. So we saw a new planet. The whole
Mm-hmm.
episode took place on a new planet, which is always cool when we see new places in the Star Wars world. And they had like the Admiral, what are the Mon Calamari,
Mon
and
Calamari.
the Squid
Mon Cala.
dudes as well.
Yeah.
I think they're both called. Aren't they both called Mon Calamari? Or they're from the same planet. I know that.
And
Why the fuck? Hold on. Yeah, they're on an ocean planet.
yeah, and
right?
they had
But-
like cool people. It all made sense. They had the cool AT-AT that had the crane attachment.
yeah, the modified. Yeah. But why the fuck in a universe with
In a world.
speeder bikes and spaceships that can travel at the speed of light or possibly more? Who
We do
knows?
go faster. We do know
Is
that.
there a sailboat?
It wasn't a sail, but it had like
It was,
fucking
a
engines
fishing.
on it.
It was a fishing vessel.
And also fishing.
It was.
But
You
yeah,
gotta
no,
think there are still impoverished parts of the galaxy in Star Wars. This planet definitely
yeah.
looked like one of them. They may not be able to afford fish killing, seeking, homing lasers. Some people just like the craft.
Yeah, it was strange.
I thought
But,
the action in this episode was fantastic.
yes.
How the choreography, if you would call it that, of so Mando is quite bulky. Like his armor is like a lot larger than the ones that we see on Bo-Katan and her
He's
friends.
definitely more of a tank, and we
Yeah,
see
right.
that actually play out, which was awesome.
Yeah. So the movement of Bo-Katan is a character from a CG animated show, and the movement of them felt reminiscent of how they looked in that show.
I'm really
Like
impressed at how they matched it.
and it was weird to look at a live action and how it translated like that sort of movement from like 3D animation.
I liked how this
And
season so far we'd been seeing. One of my major criticisms of the last season was that Mandalorian was constantly getting his ass kicked, and like he didn't seem like a badass.
On Tatooine.
Yeah.
Whereas this season he kind of has stepped up his game a bit. Like he's been more of a badass. We've seen him winning fights even at the start of this episode. Like he was handling himself. And then to see him in contrast with Bo-Katan and her two like fucking groupies or whatever, how they were like moving as a unit together, precise, and he's kind of like a more of a blunt instrument than they are. It does show.
They're soldiers. He's a brawler.
Yeah.
He's a warrior. compared
And
to
this
a soldier.
episode got fairly dark too. Like there was a suicide pill and
Yeah,
Like
that's
that-
actually like
I-
a cool lore building thing. I don't think we'd seen that in Star Wars to this
no,
point.
absolutely
But
not. Do you
it
think they're
makes
gonna put that in a
sense.
fucking movie?
I mean, I was thinking
Like,
more like in the animated shows. I know some of those arcs get.
yeah, not really. Some people have done stuff
But yeah,
like
no,
that.
he was
in
going to
Clone Wars,
kamikaze
but-
and then he took a suicide pill. So that is a new
Yeah,
territory
that
for
was
Star
that
Wars.
was kind of crazy for Disney.
Yeah,
I respect
was-
it.
I feel like Disney hopefully doesn't actually get that much input in this one. In this,
I mean, they do.
I feel like
Well,
it,
Kathleen
absolutely.
Kennedy is pretty heavily involved.
She's heavily
And
involved
she's-
in everything.
Yeah,
she's the CEO of Lucasfilm.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately,
But,
She is our master.
Fun fact: so one of the Mandalorians that was not Bo-Katan or Mando was
she was in the Rebels,
WWE
wasn't she?
fighter. No, I mean it's Sasha Banks from WWE, and I think that this whole season that like we know that like people coming from various things that are like in one episode, same as last season we had Bill Burr, but it made more like they definitely there was a point where she like suplexed someone as a Mandalorian like in a Mandalorian armor, which was like fucking cool. But she also didn't overstay her welcome. Like she had like two lines maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that they're using these like kind of one-off, like semi-big name actors and stuff like this in this season, as opposed to having Bill Burr be the lead character in an episode, and you can tell he didn't really care or understand the Star
Well, he
Wars
doesn't
lore.
like. He doesn't
It was
like
just
Star
kind
Wars.
of being Bill Burr. So they're definitely almost all of my criticisms of last season have been addressed.
I think also we're watching it differently than we did
Well,
last
we are
season.
watching it with a different lens.
We came in last season to this. Oh my god, it's fucking Mandalorian! Like we get this badass Game of Thrones Star Wars show, and then he goes to Tatooine 8 times.
Well, this episode felt like an episode of Clone Wars more than any other episode
Yes.
in the show has,
Which is
and
good
that is a
because
good
Clone
thing.
Wars is amazing.
The good episodes
And-
of Clone Wars are good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is some garbage, but
But that's just like how much of that show there is.
yeah. But how good is that fucking Order 66 scene with Ahsoka in the Clone Wars? That is just pure. That is the most artistic, like beautiful, like shot.
I'd be extremely interested to
Scored.
see where Ahsoka's
It's just
at the
beautiful.
moment, like immediately after Return
I hope
of the
she's
Jedi.
depressed. I want a depressed Jedi. Well, no, like I don't want her to be. All
I mean, her master
happy-go-lucky.
just died. You know,
Yeah. Well, no, she knows that he's alive.
no.
Canonically,
what?
she would.
And
Yeah,
during
because in
Mando,
Rebels they
Vader's
met.
been dead for.
Yeah, Mandalorian, Vader, Anakin.
Vader's been
Oh,
dead for
yeah,
8
that's
years.
right, yeah, whoops.
What were you saying?
I thought my timeline was messed up. I was talking about Rebels.
Jarrus?
Kanan Jarrus.
I only found out he died like today when I was watching a video.
Yeah,
on
he
the-
got blind. He
I
got
know-
a
I knew he got
weird
blind.
haircut, and then fucking died. He did the Superman's dad from Man of Steel. Anyway,
Actually, fuck. Okay, pause on
final-
Mandalorian. Let's
oh,
talk about Man of Steel real quick.
I
I think
loved it.
that
I
scene
like
gets
this
a
movie.
bad rap. Where
yeah,
It's a
that
great
movie is
scene.
fine.
So
I like
Oh,
that
that
movie.
scene?
what you're
Oh,
supposed
just that
to
scene.
what that scene is supposed to be showing is the flaw of that scene is that Henry Cavill is playing Superman and he looks like Henry Cavill when Superman's supposed to be like 17 in that scene. So like he's not familiar with the Superman powers yet. He hasn't really become Superman. He's still a kid, so of course he's gonna respect his dad's like wishes, like saying like, "Don't save me, let me walk into a tornado."
But let's be
But the
honest, the
fact that you have Henry Cavill there-
the Smallville Superman didn't look 17 either. So
No, Tom Welling, yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah, but that's
Tom
because
Welling,
it was Smallville.
It's because Tom Welling was 30.
Yeah. And you know, in
Get out of here
Spider-Man, Tobey
shut
Maguire
your
was
fucking mouth.
68 playing a 17-year-old.
No,
But,
what
to
was
put
the
it-
I
guy?
like
what
how
was
the
the guy that
teacher
played
was-
him? Dylan Strawberry or what the fuck his name is?
No,
I
who
can't
knows?
remember. The guy that played young Clark. I thought he probably should have been. That probably would have
Absolutely,
made more
that
sense
should
if he
have
was
been.
in that scene. But I think they wanted the emotion of actually having Henry Cavill
Well, they
in that
want an
scene.
actual actor in that scene, which I get, but
Yeah.
it definitely hurt the movie as a whole because seeing Henry, he's fucking Henry Cavill. He's huge.
Yeah, he's still like
he's
this
large
big.
and He's like, I'm 17 and you can
Even
die
if
in
they
a
did,
tornado.
even if they did what they did with Captain America in the first Captain America movie,
No,
No,
but
just
that-
made it
skinny
scrawny.
boy. But that would have looked weird.
It just
I
would
mean,
have
he
looked
still,
out
it
of
wouldn't have been
place. 'cause
scrawny.
it's-
Like, Superman would have looked like that at 17, probably, if you like extrapolate that with your brain.
but it was more just
But
how
it's
his
like
head
Superboy.
was just.
Yeah, for the audience and seeing it, like it doesn't make sense. Anyway,
I know.
Back
I
to
thought that movie was.
Mandalorian.
Well, no, just quickly
Snap
back on
to
Man of Steel. Back on Man of Steel.
Okay.
okay.
I thought that movie was really good until
it's
the General
amazing.
Zod fight scene. I think
I
that
still
it
like
went.
it.
No. See, I still really love it, but I think that General Zod fight scene is what pushed people over the edge with the amount of damage that happened in that one. Whereas I think there was already so much that happened before. You getting to that point, it was sort of massive. It's like the fight went on for another hour. If
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
it.
yeah.
But that
It sort
was
of drags
it was
on.
cool to see flying used in a fight, like how it would actually be used in a fight. Like I will give them that. That
just
was fucking sick.
just pure force,
Yeah.
not just floating around, hovering,
Mm.
and Dragon Ball Z fighting. It's
How'd
just in the
that
air, just
start
fighting
off?
with your fists.
He fought the woman person at a petrol station, and then it went into General Zod.
No. So that was that was like the
That
middle
was
sort of
towards
fight
the middle.
scene.
When she first saw the sun, they took off their spacesuits. I'm like, oh, the red sun,
Oh,
Yellow sun.
yellow sun. Fuck.
The red sun makes him.
Yeah. Shut
Come
up.
on, Dan.
I said the wrong thing. Anyway, back to
Snap back to
Mandalorian because we're going
Mandalorian.
over
Yeah.
time. I want on Baby Yoda. So last episode he was eating the eggs, little mischievous bugger. That
Yeah,
was
what the fuck?
on the fish lady from not watching her eggs. This episode, Mando goes and leaves after snowboard.
Yeah, I know.
He's
I was like, is he gonna
leaves
eat this
Yoda.
kid?
He's gonna ruin the entire fucking litter of fish.
I
I
thought
thought he was
I
gonna.
thought
I thought he was
gonna
gonna
s-
eat the thing.
I thought he was
Yeah.
going to shit out some tadpoles at the end.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I
hope
thought-
that the fish dude wasn't nutting in Baby Yoda. So
I thought they
Blake would
it was
want that.
gonna set up for something like bigger, like, but it was just him
Eating.
eating on it. It was just comic relief. It was,
of
it
course,
was
that's
so-
all he is in the show.
He's
Yeah.
comic and cuteness. He's what brings females to the show, and I can tell you
As
that
much
from
as that's sexist, but yes, that's the reason Brooke's watching as well.
Well, that's the reason half the girls like I was telling a couple of girls at work about it, and they were like, "Oh, is that what all the memes are from? Baby Yoda? Oh, they're so cute. I'll watch that."
Damn.
And then I made them watch the Clone Wars. I've got one girl at work to watch the whole Clone Wars.
Is she watching it like season 1, 2, 3, or is she watching it in canonical order?
I don't know. I just. Oh, actually, no.
Oh,
I think
well.
I showed her. I think I showed her the thing. And I think
The-
she
like the
looked it up
watching-
and she showed me. I was like, "Oh, is this correct?" And I got taken aback. I was like,
So, oh my
Yes.
god.
Yes, because it skips a lot of shit, like
Yeah.
that droid one.
"Oh, that
But then-
C-3PO R2D2 arc in like the middle. I think it's like season 2 or 3. Is just
No, there's one in like season 4 where the animation is awful. They're on like it's like this 4-episode arc. It's like R2D2, 3 other R2 units, and this tiny
oh no, I
frog
like
man.
that one. I like that
It is
one.
awful.
What about
It is
Mace Windu
awful.
and Jar Jar Binks? Wasn't that a great arc?
That was Dave Filoni's fucking middle finger because that was the season that got cancelled.
Yeah.
Oh, is
That's
that?
hilarious.
Oh, that's the
Yeah, it's the
Season
one where
5.
he's I need to summon a princess.
Oh god. That yeah.
Yeah.
I feel bad
Yeah.
for that show.
So to wrap up, Mandalorian looking good. Hey Dan,
Hey, Kobe, where can the kids find you?
The really young, like inappropriate.
No, we're not doing this
inappropriately
joke
young.
anymore. We're not doing this joke anymore.
the kids can find me at _55 Kobe55 _ and South _bound _band on Instagram.
Dugan, where can the kids find you?
At Daniel F737.
Wow, that's crazy. Joseph,
Alright, Dan, where can the
No,
Dan,
wait,
where can
no,
the inappropriate
no,
Dan,
no,
Dan,
no,
where can the
no,
kids
no,
Hey
find
no,
you?
Joseph,
no.
Joseph.
Hey, Joseph, where can the kids find you?
At Via Garibaldi, GARIBALDI.
His announcement that he teased last week isn't happening yet.
Yeah, I changed the post to soon.
Anyway, and
So-
you can find me at DanielF737, the same place you can find Dugan on Twitter and Instagram. You can also follow the Slalt Cast on Twitch, twitch.tv/SlaltCast. We stream every Monday, Wednesday, and now like most Thursdays. It's pretty cool. We do fun stuff. We play games. Expect some more Phasmophobia. Expect some more Destiny. Expect
And-
hopefully some Mungus soon. Bit of
Hearts
Among
of
Us.
Hearts of Iron 4 is
Joseph
on the
wants his
menu,
Hearts
boys.
of Iron week, you know. It's all fun stuff over there. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube. No video this week, but there will be video in the coming week. So that's just Slotcast on YouTube. It's also in the link on our Instagram bio. Kobe is working on the Portal 2 Let's Play. That'll be coming to a YouTube near you too soon. So you definitely don't want to miss that.
Maybe in like 2021.
Maybe in 2020. Am I right, guys?
Yeah. Who
Yeah,
knows?
Now
Maybe
Maybe in
someone
2020
say something funny.
too. You know, we're not ending on that. You know, I like to think that you could anything.
Thanks for listening. Please remember to leave a positive rating wherever you're listening from, and to follow our socials at Slaltcast on Twitter and Instagram.